Okay, good morning everyone and a very warm welcome to today's Hull and East Yorkshire Career Hub Apprenticeship Assembly hosted by ourselves at Pathway CTM, and happy National Apprenticeship Week. I hope you're all very excited for today's session, but also for the full week. I'm sure there'll be lots more activities happening over National Apprenticeship Week within your school or college, and hopefully it inspires you into your next career choice, and that's what we're hoping to do today. So a very warm welcome to all of you that's joined us. Before we get into some of the content, I just wanted to welcome you to today's webinar. My name is Emma. I am a Career Hub's account manager at Pathway CTM, and I will be hosting today's webinar. Really excited to get into some incredible employers today, and also to kind of touch base on maybe some of those misconceptions or myths about apprenticeships and helping to debunk those. So I've been at Pathway for about 2 months now. Before that, I actually came from the employer side myself, so really great to see some really good employers on today. Before we get started into our discussions, it'd be great for us to tell you a little bit about Pathway CTM. So if you haven't heard of us, what do we do? So we are really here to help you get your next step in your career, what you're wanting to do whenever you finish school. So with us, whenever you scan the QR code here, and we will share that with your teachers afterwards, you will get access to all of our events that we run across the country for students just like yourselves to get in and talk to employers about apprenticeships and about next steps in your career. We also have a wide range of online resources available for employability skills that you can get for free on our website. And we have lots of work experience opportunities, both physical and virtual, that you can get involved in to kind of taste the different careers on offer. We also have large events that are both physical and streamed, so you can come on for free and join us at those events, or you can watch us online. And everyone's favorite part is you can have some competitions and prizes in there as well. So we do offer at the moment a £1,000 giveaway for anyone who signs up before Easter. So do get yourself in that hat to potentially win that. So what's on the agenda today then? So overall, we will be talking about apprenticeships with 3 great employers. First of all, we'll be talking to Alison from Swift, then we'll be talking to the team at BAE Systems, and then finally Angela from William Jackson Food Group. And I can't wait to share all the stuff that they have for you. So we're going to get started with Alison around Swift. So take it away, Alison.
Good morning, everybody. So I'm Alison Christie, and I'm the Learning and Development Manager at Swift. So when I was asked to do this, we give it some thought to the regular questions that we get asked from students when they come to visit our site or when we go out to schools. So firstly, there is always the question of what actually is an apprenticeship. So an apprenticeship is a work-based training program that is designed to help employers train people for specific job roles. And as an apprentice, you also get paid, obviously, whilst you are doing your job as well, as getting the valuable training that you need to work towards your nationally recognised qualification. Anybody can apply to do an apprenticeship who is aged over 16 years and above. And then the big question that we always get asked is, what do I get paid during my apprenticeship? So our apprenticeship pay scales are dependent on your age. Our first year students, but this is regardless of age, they will earn £5.35 per hour. The reason behind that is all of our first years are classed as non-operational. So what that means is for that first year, you're not doing a job as such. What you're doing is you're learning about our business. So you have work placements in every single area of our business where you go around and you will spend 4 to 5 weeks in that area just learning about what the business has to offer, what different jobs we have, and what part you can play in that role. You'll then be mentored as well by some of our staff as you go through these placements. Once you've completed your first year, you would then move obviously into your second year, and this is where you then make your choice. So again, similar to being at school where you would make a choice in whatever subject areas you might choose, here you choose what area of the business you enjoyed working in. There will, depending on how many people are interested in that area, there may be a little interview process to go through with the senior managers. And then if you're lucky, you would get placed into that placement area. And that's where you would spend the next 2 years of your apprenticeship. Also, we always get asked a lot of whether or not you will get a job at the end of your apprenticeship. Now, here at Swift, we only ever take on apprentices with the aim to keeping everybody on at the end of their apprenticeship. But obviously, as an apprentice, you know, you've got a massive part to play in that. So that would mean that you need to have good attendance, good punctuality, good behaviour by the end of it, and obviously also of completed your apprenticeship. We also work alongside the college as well. So all of your you know, your behaviour, your skills, your work ethics and everything that you take to college with you, as well as you are always still representing Swift even when you're off our site, that is all taken into account. If all of that is successful, where we say if you successfully complete your course, then you would receive a full-time job at the end of it. Move on. Thank you. So what is involved with the Swift apprenticeship then? So as I've mentioned, you do a day at college. So every week you would have one day release at our local college. We work in partnership with a college called Hull Training and Adult Education. And at the minute, they're really local to us. So they're actually based on Orchard Park, but that is going to be changing. And they are going to the old Trinity School in town. And that's where they're going to be based. Well, I'm not sure when, maybe by the end of this year. For that first year, as I've already mentioned, you will rotate around our business, learning about all of the different jobs and everything that we have to offer. You will learn how to create our products from start to finish. And again, one of the big things about Swift is none of our products are made by robots. Everything is made by hand. So like you will learn how we build a caravan from just a sachet all the way up to a fully fledged caravan. You will learn how to use various hand tools. You'll learn woodworking skills and obviously develop your fitting and assembly skills as well. So your qualifications and that you would need to apply for a Swift apprenticeship. Firstly, you would need to attend and pass the Swift Academy Assessment Day. So we have like a 3-stage interview process. So your first one is an informal interview on site where you come to Swift, you would then have a full site tour and you'd have like a first introduction interview with ourselves. You'd also have a presentation about what an apprenticeship actually is. At the end of that, that is also for you to decide whether Swift is the right company for you, because once you've seen the production and the size of the production, some people may think that it's not for them and other people will be buzzing by and really want to apply for our apprenticeship programme. We have stated next that you would need to have achieved a grade 4 or above in English and maths, but that's not necessarily the case. So what happens is for interview stage 2, you would then go to the local college that we work with. They will then carry out a number of tests with you and they will then determine whether you are apprenticeship ready, whether you are working towards a level 2 or a level 3 apprenticeship. If they're happy with what they're seeing, then we would offer you still a level 3 apprenticeship, say for example, even if you didn't get your grade 4 in maths and English. We would then work with the college and you would have a day release. Within your day release, you would also do your English and maths to make sure you get the levels that you need. You would need to have a desire to work with your hands. All of our jobs are very manual. As I say, you're actually building a caravan from scratch. You would need to have the ability to follow instructions and diagrams, but again, we can teach you how to read drawings, that kind of thing. But it is just if you've got a bit of a natural flair for it, that would be helpful. The ability to work accurately as well with a good eye for detail, good communication and problem solving skills, and also the ability to work on your own initiative, but also as part of a team. It's very important teamwork here at Swift. As you would work within GANs, it's about learning how to be part of that team, to have that loyalty to your teammates, that kind of thing. Okay, so who are we then? And I've talked a lot about our apprenticeship programme, but let's give you a bit of information about the company. So in that, Swift was actually established in 1964 by Ken Smith, who at that time in life, he was a sheet metal worker and he was building sheds and greenhouses and hiring out washing machines from a unit down on Headon Road. One day he was walking on the site and he dropped by one of his neighbours, and at that he then discovered that his neighbour was actually building a caravan. Obviously he thought to himself, well, that looks like a great thing to do. So that him and his neighbour then decided to start building caravans together, and they created the first Swift caravan, which was a Swift 10. Back in 1964, the Swift 10 sold for £289, which you're probably all thinking that doesn't seem like a lot of money, but back in 1964, that was the equivalent to a full year's wage for the person that bought that caravan. They continued to grow the business, and so they moved out of the Headland Road site and they moved down to Dunswell Road. The site that we're currently on now is 106 acres, so it's a massive site, and that was needed for the level of growth and demand that we had on our products. Sadly, Ken did pass away at the age of 56, and it was then left to his Peter to decide whether or not he was going to carry on with his father's business, or whether he was going to carry on doing following his own dream, which at that point was to be a professional rally driver. Obviously, Swift is still here today, so he did decide to carry on with the family business, but he also carried on rally driving as well, and he carried on driving, and I think he still drives now, to be perfectly honest with you. So a lot of this business's success is down to Peter's drive and determination and his competitive nature. He did go out and make sure that his business model was to make sure that we was a sustainable business. So some of you may have family members within the caravan industry. Some people may be a little bit nervous about joining the caravan industry, especially at the minute, as elements of it are in quite a downturn. However, with our business model and the fact that we make a lot of different products, our staff have not been laid off. We've been able to redeploy our staff and retain them around the site. And that's down to Peter's business model. You just want to move to the next one. Okay, so yeah, next slide is fine. Alex was going to join us today. She's one of our current apprentices, but Alex is a second-year apprentice, and she's actually doing a really important job for us at the minute, so she's not able to come and join us today, unfortunately, with it being a second year. We wouldn't normally put a second year in this position because they do a full-time job when they're here on site. So what Alex does is she does something called testing. So she tests all of the gas and electrics on all of our caravans. So obviously taking her away from that today could be quite detrimental, which is a really good thing as well to have one of our apprentices in that position. So I'm just going to tell you about Alex's journey myself. So Alex is currently doing a level 3 engineer fitter apprenticeship. She started the apprenticeship and as a little bit late. She says a little bit later, but she was a little bit older than some of our other apprentices. So Alex was 21 when she joined us. So she'd already had a few other jobs, and she decided that they wasn't for them and she wanted a change in career. So she came to us for the apprenticeship programme. The question was asked, what does this involve? So she said that she likes to work alongside experts in their field, and it's been really rewarding so far and has helped boost her confidence. Alex finds it particularly enjoyable moving around the factory and working in different teams, as this gives apprentices a broader experience, enabling them to decide about what they would like to focus on next in their career. She loves working for Swift and feels like she's part of the family. And in her experience, she would say the 3 words that describes it best for her is exciting, variety, and epic. Okay, so these are our products. So as I was mentioning on the previous slide there, that we make everything here at Swift, so we're not affected by the downturn, like unfortunately some of our competitors may have been. So we make touring caravans, we make coach-built motorhomes, we make panel van conversions, which are your camper vans. We also have the crossover vehicles, which are these small compact tourers. We build holiday homes, which are the kind of homes that you would maybe rent out for a week or two on like a Blue Dolphin resort, that kind of thing. We also build lodges. So these are your big lodges where people can live, 365 days of the year. They're just like somebody's house. And we build S-pods. So these are our glamping pod ranges. So as you can see, we make sure that we cover every single pot here, which makes us a good, sustainable business.
Thank you so much, Alison. That was really, really useful. And I guess before we kind of wrap up on Swift, is there any kind of hints and tips you maybe want to give the students today around a career at Swift and kind of what Swift are looking for?
We are always looking for enthusiastic, energetic youngsters. Just a bit of a plug, I suppose. Today we go live with our applications. So if you do go onto our website today, then you will be able to apply for our apprenticeship programme. Trying to think if there's anything else really to say. It's for us, it is just more based on what you can bring. So your kind of energy that you bring to the programme is what we're looking for, really.
Fantastic, and great to be starting National Apprenticeship Week with the roles going live. What a great way to start. So yes, it will be great hopefully to see some of the students who are listening today potentially putting in their application, and thank you for joining us today, Alison. I'm going to now pass over to the team at BAE Systems.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. My name is James Hardstaff. I'm the General Manager here at BAE Systems in Brough, and I'm also joined by Lorna and Tegan, two of our current apprentices. So I guess just a bit about BAE before I delve into some of the specifics. So obviously we are a global aerospace and defence company. We've got domains across air, land and sea. If I look at here in Brough, we've got currently around about 700 employees, predominantly working in the air domain. So that's really supporting our military air programs across the Hawk, Typhoon, and then into the new future fighter concepts. But we also do some work for our maritime company as well, really supporting their development of the new Dreadnought submarine, which is the UK's nuclear deterrent. So because we are an engineering company, our engineering schemes really focus on giving us that next level of talent to support those engineering careers. And these careers, equally can easily span 30, 40 years with a company. We have most people here at Brough have been here, throughout their whole career. So it really does give you that opportunity for the future. So currently at Brough in particular, we offer really two different types of engineering apprenticeship. So we do our degree apprenticeship schemes and our advanced technician schemes. So we offer three different types of degree apprenticeship scheme. That's across aerospace, software, and a new one which started this year, which is digital technology solutions. So that's very much looking to the future in terms of that sort of data analytics and that big data environment that we're going to find ourselves. So the software is a 4-year scheme, whereas the aero and the DTS are 5-year. You can see there, obviously, being engineering, we're very much STEM focused. So we do want people to come through with, those strong both GCSEs and A-level equivalents in STEM. So you can see for the degree schemes, what the GCSE and 96 UCAS points for those. The degree scheme, which obviously comes out with level 4 HNC qualification, that only really requires those sort of 5 GCSEs across, again, maths, English and science been really strong. What we do then when you actually come in for those schemes is we actually place you in the engineering teams that you're going to be working in. And those rotations go from sort of 4 to 7 months. So we try and make sure that you can cover the full breadth of what we do here, both in terms of the life cycle, so some of the early life cycle stuff, some of through to supporting products in service as well. So really you can decide where it is you might want to go when you come out of your apprenticeship at the end. We also do day release into universities. So again, the EDAS schemes there, you've got 1 week to go into university towards your level 6 degree qualification, and the technician schemes are similar, again, 1 day a week to go towards your level 4 HNC. So next slide, please. So in terms of how it works, so our application window opens the 1st of November and closes end of February. That's the same every year. We have various open evenings, which are advertised on our main BAE Systems site, generally from October to November. So we just held our last one actually a couple of weeks ago. So again, if we're looking forward to next year, we'll be holding more probably November and January into 2025. So our application window closes at the end of February. Once you apply, there's various online tests that you'll do. to get through the various stages. There's also on a platform called HireView, where you actually do an online interview. So you actually get 3 attempts to answer questions, which then obviously get recorded. If you then get through that, we'll then do a further sift and invite people in for face-to-face interviews. That will then result in those conditional offers being made. And then obviously you'll go through a process of obtaining security clearance. So assuming then in August you get your security clearance and your results come through as expected, then you would get that formal offer made and then look to start your career in the September. Slide, please. So one of the big things about our apprenticeship schemes is obviously we call them sort of early careers. So they are very much part of day-to-day life here at BAE Systems. But equally, we have an awful lot of people. We've currently probably got about 80 to 90 people on various schemes currently here at Brough. So that's a very, very strong network in itself. There's a local apprenticeship council, for instance. So again, as part of the senior leadership team, we get lots of feedback from apprentices and how we're actually, improving the schemes and their life within the company. Equally, there's a very, very strong support network through the early careers team with skills coaches, etc., which obviously they've got access to on a daily basis. And then you can see there the salaries start between 15 and 29,000. So that really depends on whether you're on the advanced technician scheme or the degree apprenticeship schemes. Couple that with obviously generous holidays. We all operate flexible working here, particularly hybrid now. So you will spend sometimes on site, but equally you could equally be working from home on some of it. We really encourage people to do the extracurricular stuff. So again, I'll join you particularly by Lorna and Tegan. Again, that sort of STEM volunteering, getting out and doing more things within the community to support our community investment. Outward bound as well, we send all our apprentices on a week's outward bound course, which again really helps with that sort of collaboration and team working. And then you can start that career development while you're an apprentice and really look where you want to go within the company. And as we've said, we are a global company, so just because you're based here in sunny East Yorkshire doesn't mean you haven't got the opportunity to travel the world. We've currently got people out in Japan, Italy, and various other places. So we really do have those global prospects available to people. Okay, next one, please. So enough about me. I thought probably best if I hand over to Lorna and she can take you through a particular journey.
Hi, I'm Lorna. So I'm a 4th year EDAS apprentice and I'm in my final placement. So I'm currently in the structures department, working towards hopefully ending up in there in March. So I've done 6 5-month placements around the business and then landed on structures, of which I'll start a 2-year placement this March and hopefully retain that as my exit role. So as part of being in the structures department, I work a lot on model analysis, kind of followed up by background mathematics which is contained within Excel documentation. So you kind of got to have that aptitude to be able to work with Excel spreadsheets, as frustrating as they can be sometimes. And there's a lot of loading and forces of evaluation within that. So yeah, a lot of maths and physics. So prior to working at BAE, I did work experience with Rolls-Royce, Airbus and Ideal Boilers. My Rolls-Royce and Airbus work experience were both a week long in Bristol and in Newcastle. And then Ideal Boilers, I did 1 day a week for 2 months. As part of school, I was involved in the Green Power Kit Car project. As you can see on the right there, I'm just in the little car that we built. Yeah, they were very much what steered me towards getting involved in engineering. I enjoyed the hands-on aspect and understanding of how things work together in systems, especially with the car. You kind of got a very low level understanding of different aspects. For A-levels, I studied chemistry, maths and English language, so fulfilling that STEM aspect. You don't necessarily need to do physics, which yeah, it's good if you do, but if you love your chemistry like I did, then chemistry's all good. I applied for university and apprenticeships at the same time. For university, I applied to do industrial design engineering, which is design of products, and for apprenticeships, I applied for aerospace. Yeah, as part of BAE, I think there's a lot of learning opportunities, especially within all of the different placements. You really pushed your limits in terms of learning. There's a lot to take on board. It's good. Yeah. Placements are across a variety of business areas. So myself, I've done design, aerodynamics, mission system safety, and flight systems, finally landing in structures. And yeah, throughout that, you get a great deal of support from all of your colleagues, even if they do pretend to be annoyed when you ask them loads of questions. They never actually are. Yeah, and as part of that, we get to do a lot of team visits and trips, which is why there's a lovely picture of an F-35 on there, where we got the opportunity to go to a open day on an RAF base to go see some aircraft chucking themselves around, which was really good. Yeah, that's it for me. Next slide.
So I'm also a degree apprentice. I'm currently in my second year, so I'm a bit earlier on in my career than Lorna is, but I'm in my 4th placement. So again, I've kind of rotated around the business. I'm still working out which area I want to do, but I've enjoyed a lot of areas so far. So I've definitely got some good options to make my decision. Yeah, so for me, like Lorna said, the main thing I've got out of rotating around the placements is how supportive your placement teams are, and we've got a really strong early careers network as well, so you feel the support both from the business side of things and throughout your journey, with our day release off to uni as well. Learning in uni which supports your placement work, and it kind of goes hand in hand. So what we learn at uni sometimes helps you in your placements, and what we learn in your placements helps you in uni, so you kind of get the best of both worlds to kind of inform your journey as you go through. And like I said at the bottom, the best bit is the variety of placements. Being able to experience different platforms and different parts of the life cycle really does, kind of help you work out what you want to do in your career in engineering, and just rotating around and getting the support from the team.
Great, thank you both, and thank you to Tegan and Lorna. And I guess before I kind of move on, I'll probably ask you the same question I did Alison, in terms of, especially from you as apprentices. I mean, what kind of advice would you maybe give the students listening today around making that decision on an apprenticeship, and what are your kind of top tips?
I think one thing would be that it's definitely a lifestyle choice. You obviously really need to have that drive to go through a career rather than just go to uni and get additional qualifications. So uni is just learning, whereas this is you're working towards something that's really fulfilling, as well as getting those qualifications and building that career as well. So you don't really have that floundering period after university.
I'd say the same. That being able to work towards and see the work you're doing in your placements kind of actually be used within the business, whether it's documents you've made, work you're being worked on, seeing it used at such an early point in my career is really rewarding. And the opportunities we don't get given little tasks to do which are not related. We are given actual pieces of work which are contributing. So doing that in the day, and then on one day a week going off to uni and kind of doing the uni alongside is kind of, you are getting your qualifications, but you're getting the reward out of seeing your work being used within the company.
Great, thank you both. And James, anything from you around any top tips for applying to BAE Systems at all?
No, I think it comes probably better from Lorna and Tegan than just from me, but it is just around, we just really want those enthusiastic individuals that really want to make a difference, because we have some fantastic career opportunities for people.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, and thank you to BAE Systems for joining us. And now I'm going to pass over to our final employer today, William Jackson Food Group, and Angela.
Good morning, everyone. You've probably never heard of William Jackson Food Group, but if I ask you if you've ever been in the centre of Hull, and if you've ever been near the hospital, not going into the hospital, but just by the hospital, there is a massive bread factory just by there, and you've probably smelt our bread. But I just wanted to give you an idea that we're part of a bigger group. So William Jackson Food Group owns 5 other businesses. We've got Able and Cole, which are all about grocery delivery straight to your door, organic. We've got Wellix that supply all the high-end restaurants and hotels in the country. And we supply about 50% of the Michelin star restaurants. We've got Bella Zoo, who are a Mediterranean ingredients company. They supply a lot of olives, olive oil. So if you've ever had olives out and about when you've been in Nando's or Prezzo, or you've had a pesto when you've been to Pizza Express, that's our stuff. We've got Miso Tasty, which are a Japanese ingredients company. So I think Wagamama and their ramen bowls. And then we've got Jackson's Bakery. So next slide. Jackson's Bakery. So we've been on site in Hull since 1907. So there's been a factory there making bread, cakes, pastries since 1907, which is miles ago, miles away. On the left there, that's our founder, William Jackson. He actually created our company in 1851. So we've been around for a number of years. We are still family owned and we'll always be family owned. You might recognise the building, but not actually the name. So Grandways, if anyone goes out to Willoughby and goes to Waitrose, that was actually built by us, that building, and it was our first ever big retail store. We used to own retail stores, but we sold them back in 2006 to Sainsbury's. So if you've been on Clough Road, you might see actually a Jackson's brand there. So we're all about bread now. And on our site in Hull, we make around about 2 million loaves of bread a week, which sounds a lot of bread, and it is a lot of bread. We have our own fleet of wagons, and you might see our big wagons going up and down the A63. On the bottom picture, that's our brand spanking new factory that we built down in Corby. And that is how you would build a factory in today's modern society. The site in Hull, it's a bit like Willy Wonka. There's bread flying all over from your head down to the floor, going around cupboards, and it's really quite an amazing feat. But seriously, in the middle, we've also got our retail brand, because you're probably thinking, where do 2 million loaves of bread go each week? If you've ever bought a sandwich from Tesco, Sainsbury's, Asda, those nice little square bread sandwiches that we cut into 2 triangles, that is where the majority of our bread goes. But in the middle there, that's our retail brand. So you might see that in the supermarkets. And this weekend, we were very excited to launch our new Tiger bread under the Jackson's banner as well. So there's been lots of work going on to that this weekend. So next slide. So we're family owned, and I think it's really important to recognise what does that mean. And it means that actually we're wanting real people to join us. We don't want people who join us who are trying to be something that they're not, or trying to fluff their way through. For me, it's important to tell you that actually we appreciate that you're not the finished article if you join us on an apprenticeship scheme, and that actually we're quite open to you learning from your mistakes. We talk about there's good mistakes and there's bad mistakes. The bad mistakes are where you don't learn anything from it. The good mistakes are, I've made a mistake, I hold my hand up, but this is what I'm going to do differently next time. We've got a value called be positive, and I can confidently tell you that that's one of the key things that I look for when I'm interviewing people. So my name's Angela, if you didn't already know, and I'm our talent manager across the whole of our group. And I do all the recruitment for the apprenticeships here in Hull. So I look for people who are positive, who are enthusiastic, and who are really up for a challenge. They might not know what that challenge is, but they're actually quite excited about whatever's coming around the corner. We're looking for people who actually just want to do a really good job. And again, you might not know what that job entails, but actually you're open to learning new stuff. You're open to saying, I need help. You're open to saying, I've made a mistake. So that is our values, which is really great to hear that actually you can be more authentic and be yourself. Next slide. So we are a big site. We have about 500 colleagues on our site in Hull. We also have a distribution centre just along the A63, and we also have a freezer packing zone as well, somewhere in Hull. I can't remember the name of the street. And we have multiple different entry routes for apprentices. All our roles are advertised on our main website, and the types of jobs that you could potentially be looking at under the apprenticeship route are production ops, where you would come in and you would support the line. It's really surprising how very few people we need on the production line floor. A lot of it is automated. You will not be stood on a line making bread, rolling it, measuring the ingredients. You will not be doing any of that because it's all automated. You'll be checking the machinery. So we look for people who have a very good attention to detail, who can use a computer pad, and we use their level 2, level 3 in production. We have various office roles. So we have quite a big office staff which support all the manufacturing. So currently we've got apprentices in HR who are looking after our people, who are making sure they are being recruited, that they are being trained, that they're being paid, that they're being developed. And we also have people in our supply chain. So supply chain is anything from ingredients that come in through the door to then how does it get to the wagon and out to the retailers. So currently we have people doing a level 3 supply chain operative, and that is working with looking at how we get our transportation right. So doing things like planning of where the trucks are going, checking the routes are open and available, so the motorways are working, checking that the wagons are filled correctly. We do quite a bit around sustainability. So we try and make sure that we never send an empty wagon. So that wagon might pick up ingredients or might move bread for other people, or actually it might be a transport hub and we stop it moving until we know that it is a full truck. So that's the kind of stuff that the supply chain guys do. We also have finance apprentices. So we look for people who would like to get a qualification in finance and become a chartered accountant. So we've got level 3 and level 2 roles, but so that's for 16 to 18-year-olds. And then we have our degree apprentices. So our degree apprentices are people who have studied and stayed on at school until they're 18 plus, and it's a different route rather than going to university. So we've got 3 degree apprentices at the moment based in Hull, and they're doing supply chain and a chartered manager role. So supply chain, we've got one guy who is doing a role in transport. We've got someone else working on the shop floor. And then we've got the chartered manager route, and that is working at the moment. The guy he was part of the launch of the Tiger Bread. So if you're on any social, or now I've said it out loud and your phone's close, it might come up with Jackson's Tiger Bread. You might see some video clips that have been put forward. And our degree apprentices, he was part of the launch, so he's an assistant brand manager. And this year we're going to be looking for someone who wants to join us in our food science department. So that is someone who will make sure that the quality of the bread is fit for human consumption, so that we've done all the food processing correctly, but also looking at the structure of the bread, as well as looking at new recipes and looking at new product development. So our degree apprentices all work with Sheffield Hallam University. They go to university alongside staying with us, very similar to my other colleagues that have been on the call. So it's not day release, but it's every couple of months they'll go for a block of time. So our degree apprentice route, we look to pay just over £21,000 directly to you. And then we will pay for your degree. We will pay for you to get to Sheffield Hallam University. We'll pay for overnight accommodation. And then you'll have time during your working day to actually do some studying as well. But it is a full-time role as well. So you will keep very busy doing your studies alongside your full-time job. So what do we look for? We look for people who are enthusiastic. Everybody needs to eat, so that's a positive, because I'm sure that you'll be excited about having bread around you and bread products. But we look for people who are enthusiastic and actually want to make a difference. We're looking for people who might not know where they want to end up, but actually they have an idea of a function or are intrigued enough to want to know more about it. We look for people who are team players. So one of the things I look for in the recruitment process is, what other stuff have you done that prove that you're a good team player? So when you apply to us through our application process, we look at if you've done any team sports, if you've had any part-time jobs, or actually when you come and talk to us and have your interview, what else have you done that proves that you can communicate with other people? We are quite a friendly bunch, although there's a lot of us. We're quite interested in chatting away and talking to people to make sure that we're all an inclusive team. So it's like being part of a big family, really. I think that's all my slides, so I think I'm done. More slides. So I think I've talked about this. The one thing to know about our Sheffield Hallam University course is that we will get you to start in the beginning of September. We will look for you to then go off to Sheffield Hallam as a taster day to then start your degree probably around October. You're part of a cohort of other students from other companies, and we find that richness is really fantastic, that you're part of us, but you're also learning from other companies as well. We support you, so you'll have a mentor in the business. You'll also have me overseeing you, as well as having your line manager as well. So you're not just left to get on to your studies and off you go. We do keep a very close eye. Your assignments and your exams are predominantly based around stuff that you've done at work, and we look to how we can integrate some of the knowledge that you've learned back into the workplace as well. Applications will be opening in the next few weeks. The recruitment process will be apply online. We will then send you some assessments to complete, and then we'll do a selection event just after Easter before you go back to school.
That's great. Thank you so much, Angela. And it's really great to see so many great opportunities on offer. And I can see that somebody has put a question in the question box here for all the businesses. So I was wondering, before we kind of go on to what's next, it might be worth hearing from you all around this. So Vicky's asking about what is your stance on inclusion? Obviously, D&I is a massive thing across all businesses, but how do you kind of help and support people that maybe have additional needs or maybe need additional support when going into the workplace? I don't know who wants to start with that. Up to you.
We'll start if you like. So obviously, yeah, D&I is really important from us. We try and ensure we've got support networks to be able to support, you know, no matter what that is. So we've got very, very strong, say, different groups across this site, you know, from carers groups right through to, you know, I know I've got an apprentice at the moment that, you know, has got autism. So the company tries to do as much as it can to make sure that these people are supported so they can be their best.
Fantastic.
I'd say Swift's the same. It would all depend on the disability that the student is coming to us with, and we would make any necessary adaptations to the role for them so that it's suitable and they've got the support that they need.
I'll echo everything they've said, and it's also about being honest. So actually letting us know the best way that we can support someone through the application process, right the way through to if they start with us. We have a forum, a D&I forum. We also have a wellbeing and reward platform every colleague has access to, and there's extra support and advice and guidance on there. We also have an employee colleague support line as well. So we try and do a lot, but it's very much targeted to the individual and actually them telling us actually how we can make their work time with us as productive as possible.
Thank you all, and hopefully, Vicky, that answers your question. Thank you so much to all three companies for joining us today to talk a little bit about apprenticeships. And because we want to find out from you guys, we'd really love if you are allowed your phone in school, if you can get it out and scan the QR code, let us know what you thought of the assembly, or if not, if the teacher could scan that and also give in their feedback, it would be extremely useful. So I'll just leave that up on the screen for a couple of moments. And in that time, then you can pop in your feedback for us. And if you do have any additional questions in there that you'd like to ask somebody from any of the employers, then you can also pop it in the end piece of the Q&A box, and we will ask those. So if you haven't used the Q&A on Zoom before, it should be just at the very bottom for you. And if you click on the Q&A, which is 2 little speech bubbles, then you can ask any questions that you have. So I'll leave that up for a couple of moments, and then I'll just wrap up with what is next, or what your next steps could be, before we let you go. Just give it one more minute. And if you can't do it as of now, if you are a teacher, we will be sending this out by email as well. So you will be able to receive that and give us some feedback on the session. Okay, fantastic. So just to finish off then, what's next? So hopefully today you have had a chance to, really delve into the world of apprenticeships during National Apprenticeship Week. You've heard from 3 fantastic local employers around their opportunities, and hopefully it's given you some food for thought around kind of what your next steps are after school. So what next then? What can you kind of get involved in with us, and maybe how can we support you in that apprenticeship route if you are keen? So as I said at the start, you can register at Pathway CTM via scanning the QR code, which we've attached to the slides, but you can also visit online pathwayctm.com/register, where you can simply Google the name and it will be the first thing that comes up. You can follow us on social media, find out about all the events that we're running in your local area. And you can also, as I said before, sign up to our employer events. So there's loads of different things on offer, whether it be big events for National Apprenticeship Week. This year we're running 2 in Birmingham and London, or whether it be smaller events in kind of local offices that you can come along to. It could be a taster day where you could kind of find out a little bit more about an employer by coming in maybe over the Easter break or half-term holidays, or a kind of virtual insight day, whether that be kind of after school or over your lunch break. We do also give you the opportunity to apply for roles. So you'll be able to go onto our website and have a look and see what's open at the moment from our employers that we work with. And we also can help you and support you with those applications. So we do offer one-to-one mentorship opportunities. So if you see a role that you're interested in, you can email our student support team who work in the evenings and weekends, and they'll come back to you and they will talk you through the whole process. And the great thing about that is that they are actually students themselves. So they're either on a gap year from an apprenticeship or they're doing it as volunteering. So they're more than happy to help out, and they have some first-hand experience. Everyone has podcasts these days, and so do we. So we do have a My Career podcast that you can listen to on any of your podcast apps, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc. And we have real great conversations with apprenticeships, with business leaders about your career and, what you can learn. So if you are kind of getting the bus to school in the morning and you want something to listen to, that could be a really good place to start. And as I said, we do offer you a lot of support. So do get in touch by emailing student@pathwayctm.com, and we can support you with any of your applications you're making, or if you just want a little bit of guidance as to what you should be doing next or what your next step is, we're more than happy to help. And a special thank you, of course, to our employers who joined us today, and also to Hull and East Yorkshire Career Hub, who we've run this session along with. It's been fantastic to see so many classes on board, and also some Q&A engagement, which is fantastic. Last thing I just want to mention is something I mentioned earlier. If you are looking for some extra cash, which, let's be honest, who isn't, you can sign up to Pathway CTM and you are in with a chance of winning a £1,000 giveaway just by signing up for free. So do take a chance on that. So a very big thank you to all of us for joining us today. And we really appreciated your time this morning, and I really hope you got something out of it. And I really hope you enjoy the rest of your National Apprenticeship Week programmes in your schools. Thank you so much all. Have a lovely morning.